Hello everyone and welcome back to the final day of the fifth and final weekend of the 24-25 Optegra Championship. You join myself, Ryan Sipple, and for the first time on commentary, Sale United superstar Jack Hassan for Leeds Dynamos versus Villa Rockets Lions. Jack, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. Yourself?
Very well. Have loved the football, not just from this weekend, but the season as a whole. Just had the pleasure of calling your game with Man City, whilst it didn't go your favour. Taking that out of the conversation, Sale United this season have just been a joy to watch. Clear developments from seasons gone by. You've been there through thick, through thin, through hard times, and now the good times. How have you found it?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for your commentary. I mean, you're always... I know you're not a biased commentator, but you're always pretty complimentary about Sale.
I've got a soft spot. People do accuse me of favouritism.
Yeah, and just the last game, I mean, give City credit. I mean, they defended incredibly well in the last game.
Yeah,
really hard to break down, and yeah, they deserve the win. So credit to them. But I mean, it's been a great season. I think we're all really happy with. I think we can't get lower than 6th place now. I think, which is a great improvement. And so year on year, we've been getting more points. Getting better as a team, and yeah, no, really good. So my first season was the one with the points deduction in it, so that was quite tough to get through, but then kind of year on year it's been good. And then good to see commentating on this game with Sam Turner as well, so where it all started with him getting his starting improving.
Absolutely. I think this result could be significant for your overall outcome of the season, because had you won that game against Man City, just based on your superior goal difference, you would have leapfrogged Leeds Dynamos in the standings. Should Villa win this, that would still be up for grabs, and you could potentially finish 5th, which just hopefully speaks volumes just to how good you've been as a side. Let's go through the squads quickly, starting with the designated home team in Leeds Dynamos. Seb Copeland, Jack McNaughton, Reece Stewart, Liam Chadwick, Jack Humphreys and Hayden Lambert. Their coaches, Lewis Harris and Sebastian Copeland. And for Villa Rockets Lions, still hoping to finish in that 3rd place position, but Teesside still currently have a grasp of it, so it would need a Villa win and a Teesside loss in each of their respective final fixtures to switch their placements. They're comprised of Nicky Baker, Mason Hindley, Sam Turner and Dan Ball. No substitutes at their disposal, so if they're going to win, they're going to have to do so with those 4 players on the far side. Give me your prediction for this one, Jack.
It's a really hard one to call, this one. I'm not sure. Obviously Villa slightly shorter numbers this weekend, which is gonna be a challenge. Close one. I'm going to say score draw.
Score draw, yeah. It's going to be a really competitive game, I think. I think there's been a very noticeable absence of Naglismont Villas from Villa Rockets Lions. They're without Thomas Marshall, not to mention their coaching setup of Brad Bates and Abigail Bolt. So with that in mind, they have been very competitive. Mason Hindley, such a strong presence in the centre, has kind of led the line and been that real creator and goal scorer across their games this weekend. They started game week 5 with a 3-0 defeat to Villa Rockets, but since that, wins over Nottingham Forest and Manchester United sees them bring some good momentum into this one. Just a position behind them in the league. Leeds Dynamos, they wouldn't be able to surpass them in terms of point accumulation, with 7 points currently separating them, but they've been improving and progressing as the season's gone on. I think a lot of people reference game week 3 for Leeds Dynamos, where several of their squad members were absent, and that just really affected momentum and their aspirations of finishing towards the summit. Yesterday they beat Hull and East Yorkshire 5-1. They beat Manchester United 2-0, and like Villa, they suffered a 3-0 defeat to GBG Knights. The title has been wrapped up. Muscle Warriors are and will be crowned champions. Following this one, we'll have the trophy presentation here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. I mean, the levels of Muscle Warriors and GBG Knights specifically, Jack, have just been incredible, haven't they?
Yeah, unbelievable. Was it, I'm sure up until sort of weekend 3, Muscle Warriors hadn't conceded a goal at that point, I think, maybe, or 1 goal, and then hadn't dropped a point. I mean, they're a great start. I think GBG Knights probably play the nicest football in the league, and when they get their attacking play together, then a real struggle to play against, and a joy to watch. So it's two really strong teams, and it'll be interesting to see how they adapt to the Premiership, if they sort of change their style of play or sort of stick to what they've been doing this season.
That's the question. That's the dilemma, isn't it? I mean, I've often said that they play the best attacking brand of football, that 4-out approach, and I think that's perfectly reflected in their goals scored. If we bring up the live league table very quickly for your reference, you will see that goal difference of GBG Knights plus 66. They've scored 76 goals in their 21 games. But as you've already alluded to, that will probably not be as effective in the Premiership, just due to the sheer quality from top to bottom. So they're going to have to adapt, and it's always a case of the promoted teams being have to be a little bit more pragmatic in their approach, because the Premiership is such a huge step up from the Championship. But the teams are ready. Mason Hindley is in the centre, ready to kick things off for Villa Rockets Lions. Thumbs up from Nicky Baker. Thumbs up from Sebastian Copeland. And our referee, Caroline Goldsborough, kicks off proceedings. How have you found the quality overall this season? Because from the outside, being a commentator, there's just been this huge hike in quality, and I think that was no better. There's no better example to reference than your earlier game against Manchester City. Two teams fighting for very different things, but the level of competitiveness throughout that 40-minute fixture shows, irrelevant of your placement in the standings, you can give anyone a game. Yeah, there's no easy game in this league. Everyone's got really good players, and then what I think the key thing is, every team is improving, and the gap between top and bottom, I think, is getting smaller and smaller. Probably shows that our weekend is probably a great summary of that. We beat second place, and then lose to City. So well, based on results since that, had GBG Knights secured the 3 points against yourself yesterday morning, it would go down to the title decider. GBG Knights and Muscle Warriors play each other this afternoon. We spoiled the end of season nail biter, unfortunately, but you certainly did. But credit to you for that. You were absolutely brilliant in that game. So early pressure from Villa Rockets Lions. The starting four: Villa, Nicky Baker, Mason Hindley, Sam Turner, Dan Ball. And Leeds Dynamos have Seb Copeland, Jack Humphreys, Hayden Lambert and Reece Stewart. At the conclusion of this weekend, or today's games, we will encourage you to vote for your team of the weekend, player of the weekend and unsung hero of the weekend. That will be collected, collated and announced tomorrow. And then the big one, the end of season awards, will open, where you can vote for your player, young player, team, head coach and fantasy team. 3 in the box there. Leeds Dynamos switching off slightly. It looked pretty close, that one. I'm not sure. I guess we're not the best angle to see. It's always hard to distinguish between the different lines that designate the box. Obviously, you play to the orange here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Hayden Lambert was very close. I'm not going to question Jeff Lewis's judgment, though. No, one of the best officials in the country. So an indirect free kick to be taken by Mason Hindley, as Dan Ball to his left, the right as you view it on your screens, over to Sam Turner. I want to congratulate Sam Turner from Villa's earlier win over Hull and East Yorkshire, he registered his first goal for the club since he's moved from Sale United in the off-season, adapting to life at a different team in a very different position than one he played with yourself last season, Jack.
Yeah, I'm sure he's missing being with me on the line, trying to keep everyone out, but probably enjoying the freedom of not having to be goalie.
Hayden Lambert there, been given a yellow card. Just trying to determine why.
I think he was within 5 yards from where I kick him, but it seems quite first time so early in the match. Seems quite a harsh one, unless Cowley must have thought it was a decent attacking opportunity that he blocked. But have to be careful the rest of the game then. Yeah,
he certainly will. Obviously, he was deemed the player that infringed on the 3 in the box rule a minute ago, so has to be alert. He's very close to that orange line defining the goalkeeper area of Leeds Dynamos. So one won't want any further lapses in concentration as Dan Ball is tasked with trying to dispossess Jack Humphreys. Over into the centre, Mason Hindley to Dan Ball, trying to squeeze the ball, and there's a lapse in concentration. I said that they wouldn't want those within their game, and you have to say that was a very easy goal for Villa Rockets Lions to score.
Yeah, you didn't think there'd be a gap there. They had the wall set up, and Dan Ball just managed to sneak it through the gap. But yeah, I think Leeds were disappointed watching that back.
Yeah, credit to him for that. Jack Humphreys, I think he thought the angle would result in the ball going out of play, because there's no reason why he would have stopped progressing towards the ball. But the level is so high within this division that any lapses in concentrations can and will be capitalised on by the high quality opposition. Certainly when you're referencing Mason Hindley, Dan Ball is fresh from scoring against Hull and East Yorkshire. And if we're referencing the table, due to that more favourable accumulation of points, although they have a game more than Teesside still, Villa Rockets Lions are back in that 3rd place position. So Teesside Steel would need at least a point in their final game of the season against Hull and East Yorkshire.
This is the first period of sustained pressure from Leeds. It's all been down this end up to now, but see if they can take advantage of it.
There is options on the bench for Dynamos. Liam Chadwick and Jack McNaughton, should they opt to switch things up, as Hayden Lambert fires an effort goal bound, blocked by a very stationary Mason Hindley. Live on court A, Hayden Lambert has another effort. Manchester United versus West Bromwich Albion Dudley, currently separated by 2 goals to West Bromwich, Manchester United, sorry. As Nikki Baker has a goal kick to relieve a little bit of pressure on her defence. Good play, guided by Mason Davies into the path of Sam Turner.
Thought that might go the other way. There's 2 Leeds players quite close in, but the ref's giving it the other way.
Just had confirmation of England's home nation result against Scotland. 10-0 in favour of Adam McAvoy's side, so they progressed to this afternoon's final. And for those unaware, the draw for the EPFA Nations Cup, the European Championships equivalent for power chair football, took place last night, where England found out who they would be facing in the group stage of the competition. Hosts Italy, Denmark, the Republic of Ireland and Scotland. Nicky Baker into Mason Hindley. Quickly pressured by Jack Humphreys. He's having a brilliant season. He's been given more responsibility in that central role.
Yeah, I've been impressed playing against Jack. We had 2 tough games against Leeds this season, and he had 2 good games. But I thought this would be the main battle, really. Mason against Jack in the midfield, and
Jack Humphreys has won it on that occasion into Hayden Lambert. 180 effort, guided goal bound, blocked by Nicky Baker. Eight and a half minutes played. Leeds Dynamos 0, Villa Rockets Lions 1. As Reece Stewart, who's had little to no involvement in the half so far, is given responsibility of this kick-in. Hayden Lambert on the far side, no doubt the intended target. Ricochets off of Mason Hindley.
It's been all Leeds really after the Villa goal. They've
and that will probably frustrate them even more so, because it was a gift of a goal that they conceded. Well, closed down by Dan Ball. Likewise on the second. That come off Jack Humphreys, so Villa come away with the kick in. Over to Sam Turner, blocked by Seb Copeland. The appeals of Sam Turner are ignored by Jeff Lewis.
He's not happy with that decision, is he?
No, he's not. A goal kick for Leeds Dynamos, who will also make their first substitute of the game. Reece Stewart coming off. On comes the set-piece specialist, that is Jack McNaughton. Have to be careful of them goal kicks. Sam Turner nearly capitalising. He needed a late adjustment from Seb Copeland to ensure that Villa didn't double their lead. Villa back on the front foot. Into the box, over to Mason Hindley, and that's a beautiful chance. A real let-off for Leeds Dynamos. Looked almost a certain goal had it not ricocheted off that left-hand post, and the follow-up effort cleared on the line by Jack Humphreys, not before a contact foul was awarded in the Yorkshire-based side's favour. That was better from Villa.
It was a really nice set piece there. I didn't think there was much of a gap there, but the ball from Dan Ball was perfect through the gap, and almost a perfect finish from Mason.
Just look, Jack, you can confirm or deny. Your goal tally of 10 league strikes this season, I believe, is more than the last 3 or 4 seasons combined.
Sounds about right.
It shows that you've taken a real responsibility in attack for Sal this season. Was that a conscious decision, or it's just because your football has kind of morphed into this this way that gives you more attacking responsibility?
Yeah, I think my role in the team has changed a bit through the season. So to start with, I was playing quite a bit deeper. In the previous season, I've been playing quite deep in the centre. I think kind of as the season's gone through, David's taken on more and more responsibility in the centre role. And then this weekend, he's then taken the role as defender as well in the box. So I think just as we go through it, we're working out kind of what system works best for us, and it seems to have worked well through the season, and that just meant that I've probably had more chances on the wing, more chances to take some shots, and luckily some of them have gone in this season. But yeah, so certainly it's...
Not some of them, double digits.
Yeah, no, that I am happy with that. And
I think you got 6 goals last season, you got 2 goals the season prior, and then this is, I'm referencing full time here, the season prior to that you didn't get any goals. That's certainly what it says here. Either way, 10 strikes almost certainly matches or betters the last 2 seasons. Seb Copeland now in a more attacking role, having vacated that yellow goalkeeper jersey for Hayden Lambert as an attempt.
We'll see how this first set piece from McNaughton is. He gets a lot of power on the ball. Very difficult to defend against, especially with the full spin. You can't really see the angle of the chair. You don't know exactly where the ball's going to go, so got to keep an eye on it. And
he does pick out Jack Humphreys, but blocked by the defensive duo of Villa Rockets Lions. Another substitute signalled by Leeds, constantly switching things up and changing it tactically to try and get back into this game. Seb Copeland coming off, Liam Chadwick coming on. "14 minutes played, Leeds Dynamos still trail by a 1-0. Jack McNaughton with another kick in on the side. Over to Jack Humphreys, just nicked up at the very last moment. Almost a bobble off the court, meant he didn't strike cleanly as he could have. But for that, I think Sam Turner needs a bit of credit for just fragmenting the play and disrupting those passing lines as he picks it off into the path of Dan Ball. I think he just waited a little bit too long to pass that ball to either Sam Turner or Mason Hindley, and that split-second hesitation allowed Jack Humphreys to regroup and readjust.
Yeah, the pace wasn't quite on it to wait for the spin. I think the front bumper might have been the best option just to get the ball moving.
It's such an undervalued and underappreciated part of power chair football, them front bumper pickoffs. When you're trying to keep possession, you're trying to maintain momentum or increase momentum for that matter. They're such a useful tool in the arsenal of players. As Liam Chadwick's going to advance on his own up the court due to the placement of Jack McNaughton, not wanting to give away any needless 2-on-1 infringements. Now on the edge of the box, misses at the first chance of the 180. Mason Hindley adjusts. Confirmation of the scoreline on court A. West Bromwich Albion Dudley 1, Manchester United 2. From a Sale United perspective, and you particularly, who's been your toughest team to play against this season and the toughest player you've had to come up against?
Well, maybe cover a few things in this game. I think Leeds struggled with twice. I think Leeds are the only team that we've not taken any points against this season, so yeah, struggled against them. Hardest opponent, I think I struggle personally with more of the physical players. I'm not a fan of playing against Mason Hindley.
He's a very physical player, isn't he? Probably one of the most physical in the division at present.
Yeah, I'm not to say that he can't pass the ball, and I think that's something that's in his game as well, that he's really getting the ball moving as well this season, but he's not the player you want to be one-on-one against, really.
I think that further exemplifies how impressive David Deere has been this season. Relatively speaking, he is inexperienced, whether you're talking about the years competing in power chair football or just how old he is, and to come up against players of Mason's quality and experience and not be overawed by it, sometimes getting the better of those exchanges, shows the level he is competing at.
No, definitely, he's had a great season. It's perfect for me. I just leave him to do all the tough one-on-one battles. I'll just sit there in the corner, wait for the nice easy finish and get the goals to get all the glory. So it's a good, it's working well. But certainly he's, the season, I think also moving this season, David's gone from from the equaliser to the strike force chair, which has made a big difference as well, allowing him to kind of have that competitive edge in the one-on-ones and boss the midfield really, and then it gives us the platform to attack from. I think if you lose the middle, you're not going to win a power chair football game, because you need that platform to build the attacks from. It's such a key role in the team. So yeah, having that strong foundation, then with Jake behind him as well, just to kind of give us that really solid base. I think that's given us it's a really good platform that we can then work on our attacking side, get more goals than we have done in previous seasons, and kind of become a more offensive-minded team.
I think Jake Hudson plays such a crucial role in that. He's been such a quiet, comforting presence behind yourself and David. Often goes under the radar, I think, for the role he performs in your side, but one that's so crucial to the way you play. And I hope people give him the credit he deserves, because that is why you're seeing Sale be successful in attacking phases of play against some of the country's best teams, such as GBG Knights.
Because we don't really use the goalkeeper much in attack, so I think that's probably why sometimes his role can be.
You did in
overlooked.
The last game.
Did it? Yeah, we were trying to get that goal, but I think Jake showed yesterday against GBG Knights what he's really good at, which is judging where the space is, sort of leaving his area, cutting out the balls, with this attack to finish.
It's something I've seen a fair bit across game week 5 and the season in general, is that tendency to overplay things in attack. I said it for Sale versus Manchester City. There is opportunities to go direct for goal, which I think would be the better option. I think Dan Ball should have gone for goal directly there. Either way, it remains Villa Rockets 1, Leeds Dynamos 0. 30 seconds left of this first half. Sorry. It's Jack McNaughton trying to dispossess Mason Hindley. He's happy to just wind that clock down to the half-time break. But back to what you're saying, Jake Hudson against GBG Knights was so good. Reads the game so well.
Stops the counter-attacks by taking that free space from the edge of the box. Yeah, I think the goalkeeper's much more than sort of just sitting on the line. You really got to be that sweeper keeper to make sure that if there are any loose balls in your half, that you're getting it before the counter-attack can cause damage. Because you see so many goals scored from counter-attacks if the winger gets there before the keeper.
Anyone that watches the Premiership in the National League, he reminds me a lot of Tom Kelly in the role that he performs for Aspire. Quick, decisive actions that thwart a lot of danger from the opposition. As we tick over into additional time, barring a late moment of magic, it will go into the break in Villa's favour. Fairly even though, beyond that lapse in concentration of Jack Humphreys to see that Dan Ball effort go over the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure either team's really done enough apart from that really to think they deserve a goal. I don't think the Villa defence have ever looked in too much danger really. A few chances, but yeah, pretty even, I'd say. My prediction of a score draw is still looking on.
Yeah, I think Leeds, with the added benefit of having substitutes, will be able to switch things up from a player perspective or tactically, which they tried a few times in that first half. They're still trying to find the formula to unlock their success. But they have the opportunity, Lewis Harris, the perfect person to try and talk them through that process, being such a high-quality competitor in the Premiership and the England development squad. But thank you to all that are tuning in, to myself and Jack. We will be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to the second half of this fixture between Leeds Dynamos and Villa Rocket Lions. Currently separated by a single Dan Ball goal for Villa. Leeds looking to alter things in the second to shift the narrative in their favour. Once again, joined on commentary by Jack Hassan. Jack, give me your thoughts from that first half and expectations for the second.
Yeah, it was a tight first half. I think you say Villa just about edged it. I think Leeds will be disappointed the way that they conceded the goal. Certainly not out of it, and I think they'll be looking to push on in this second half, get the equaliser and see what else they can get from the game. I think it's going to be another tight second half. Next goal, I think, is probably a bit of a cliche, but the next goal is a key one in this one, I think, to decide on where the game's going. 90%
of the things I say on commentary are cliches, but they are very true.
Cliche for a reason, I guess, yeah.
A second goal for Villa would almost certainly secure them the 3 points, because then they could sit back and be less proactive in attack. A goal for Leeds would completely open things up. But Villa starting brightly with some territory in the Leeds half. As you've spoken about, it was a very disappointing way for Leeds to concede. Just a lapse in concentration from the defenders that allowed Dan Ball to open the scoreline. But since that, Leeds have had spells in attack. They switched things up significantly. So this team very different than that started the first half. In goal, Hayden Lambert on a yellow card worth noting. So he'll have to be wary across this second 20-minute interval. Jack Humphreys, the ever-present central player, with wingers of Seb Copeland and Liam Chadwick. And for Villa, no substitutes available. Nicky Baker, Mason Hindley, Dan Ball and Sam Turner. Sam Turner fresh from scoring his first Villa goal against Hull and East Yorkshire, adapting to that attacking wide position. One that I don't recall him ever really featuring in for Sale United. You can of course correct me.
So back in the day, Sam was an outfield player for Sale United.
We're going back a few years though, right?
Before my time playing in the national team.
So Jack Humphreys to take, down to Seb Copeland. Exchanges some short snappy passes down this left-hand side, the right wing of Leeds Dynamos. Turner trying to just bypass Jack Humphreys. That's a good battle. The ball's trapped between the two. Goes in the favour of Villa. Cross to Dan Ball. The right intention there. Had Sam Turner met that with his front bumper, he could have put some real pressure on Hayden Lambert, but fortunately for Leeds, it rolls out of play. They're just looking for that one killer pass, Leeds, to split open Villa. I think the ultimate objective, no doubt, for Lewis Harris at that half-time team talk was just finding that pass to bypass Mason Hindley. If you can take Mason Hindley out the game, there is opportunities back to be had. But I think that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, I think Jack's got to work on getting the hits from the middle a bit wide, and maybe the wingers go a bit shallower so there's more angle on the ball, and then Mason's got no chance to cut it out, because otherwise they're being a bit too straight with the balls currently, and he's just cutting them out both sides.
Potential breakaway there for Villa. Jack Humphreys desperately getting back to cover and restrict the options of Sam Turner. Once again, this central battle resumes between Hindley and Jack Humphreys.
I think Villa will be happy if it stays on those kind of battles throughout the second half. I think that's exactly what they want for the rest of the game.
whether or not it's their actual stated ambition to be in that third place playoff position. They will have hold of it ahead of Teesside's final game against Hull and East Yorkshire. And having watched several, if not all, of Hull's games across game week 5, I can easily say with confidence that they're a tough team to break down. So it's far from a formality that they'll get 3 points from that. A draw would be enough for Teesside to be present in that Premiership playoff due to a far more superior goal difference. But Villa, under the circumstances, would have done their job and will put the pressure on Teesside going into the final game of the season.
Yeah, Mason just keeping it nice and tight in the corner. No need to do anything too expansive. He's got control of the situation. I was asking David for some advice on commentary, as I know he's an old hand at it now.
So David D and Mason Davies just to Jack and I's right as we speak to watch this intriguing, closely fought battle between Leeds Dynamos and Villa Rockets Lions. An attempt for Mason Hindley. No real power to trouble the Leeds defence, but Leeds haven't really had any success in attack in the 6.5 minutes we've played of this second half. So they're going to have to switch something up tactically if they're going to have success.
This is very much how the first half started, with
very much so,
and then eventually that pressure led to a mistake in the Leeds defence with the goal. So yeah, very similar pattern in this half.
Substitute signalled by Jamie King, the assistant on the far side. So Lewis Harris is trying to switch things up. Jack McNaughton and Reece Stewart on in place of Seb Copeland and Liam Chadwick. So we suspected there would be changes because what is currently occurring isn't doing anything to threaten Villa Rockets Lions. I don't think Nicky Baker has had any involvement in this second half, which speaks to volumes as to the role that Mason Hindley is performing.
Some very enthusiastic supporters.
I think David's watching the wrong game. His eyes are drawn over to Manchester United on court A. Here on court B, Villa still lead Leeds Dynamos by a goal to nil. Sam Turner has an opportunity, guides it goal bound, but wide of the right hand post.
See if Leeds can now build up from the goal kick, get a bit of possession, get the ball moving between the middleman and the wingers.
Jack McNaughton just into the side of Mason Hindley. Very short advantage played. Opportunity for Dan Ball. Would like to have seen him that run across his chair and attempt the 180. I think that was far more favourable and could generate more power than the eventual counter-clockwise strike into the ball. For anyone wanting the scoreline on court A, which we just referenced, still West Bromwich Albion Dudley 1, Manchester United 2. Corner kick for Villa to be taken by Dan Ball. The usual setup with Mason Hindley in the centre. He's going to attempt an effort at goal, blocked by Jack Humphreys. Out for another Villa kick-in.
Never enjoyed defending corners. I think it's the worst one to defend. It's really difficult to see, first of all, where the ball's coming from, and then also trying to watch the opposition players. So
we've seen a real increase in the prevalence of corner goals and set-piece goals in the 24-25 season. A lot of it certainly from my perspective has stemmed from inspiration of USA in the World Cup and how effectively they utilise set pieces. Do you ever dedicate training sessions to set pieces, knowing how valuable they can be to a team's success?
Yeah, definitely. We'll spend quite a lot of time on set pieces in training. I think you referenced it in commentary, a bit like American football, where the set plays are so important. You want to build up territory through the pitch and then take advantage of those, because where you got those set, where you know where the players are going to be, set formations from a set piece, it really gives you the opportunity to express yourself and get the ball moving, and yeah, key to the sport.
"30 minutes in, it's been very one-way traffic in this second half.
Sometimes it's difficult. You get these games where you find yourself from these perspectives caught up in battles, and it's really hard just to get out of them, trying to get the ball. From when the ball's stationary, getting that first power on the ball is the hardest thing.
Of course. Nothing's really threatened Jack Humphreys or Hayden Lambert in that Leeds goal, but all the while it remains in their defensive half. It won't be in any form of attack, as that was probably the most credible opportunity Villa have registered all half. Mason Hindley testing Hayden Lambert, a nicely timed 180 off the back wheel of the Leeds keeper into the box. Jack Humphreys clears, took a slight touch off of Mason Hindley, so a goal kick will resume play.
You need a bit more pace on that ball to do a front bumper hit, otherwise it was quite easy to read from a defensive perspective.
Sam Turner with an immediate dispossession of Hayden Lambert.
He's done a good job, Sam, in this game, being a pain both in attack and defence.
He has, but just the way that Hayden Lambert set up there, it was very telegraphed. It was very evident that he was going into the centre. So if he has any follow-up goal kicks or set pieces, I'd like him to just be a little bit more assured in his actions, because that was almost a gift of a goal again. And in open play, they look solid defensively, but it's just been those lapses in concentration that have presented Villa with their best opportunities. This is the most territory I think Leeds Dynamos have had in the 32.5 minutes we've played in this second half. And frustratingly for Jack Humphreys and co, the free kick is awarded in favour of Villa. Pick off from Sam Turner, intended for down ball, cut out by Jack Humphreys. Substitute for Leeds once again, trying to switch things up to influence this result. Jack Humphreys off, Liam Chadwick will now take position in the centre, and Jack McNaughton off, Seb Copeland back on.
Trying lots of different combinations, being very proactive, the coach.
They are, but I think that's something we've seen across the season. Leeds Dynamos constantly tinkering and changing to try and find that best starting four to accommodate all the skill sets of all of their players, and I don't think they've quite found it yet. But a season of experience under their belts will do them the world of good for next season. And once again, Hayden Lambert hasn't had the most success when it comes to those goal kicks.
I have a bit of sympathy for the keeper there. I think it's two of them. I think you also got the middleman's got to be more of a blocker as well, and make sure that they make the first contact on the ball. I think it's both of them got to take responsibility to make sure that Sam can't be the one making first contact.
Yeah, but I think you've already said you have to commend the effort of Sam Turner. He's putting himself in those positions. He's disrupting those passing lanes, and he's keeping possession in the Leeds defensive half. That was a beautiful initial pass from Mason Hindley completely took Seb Copeland out of the game. And with 5 minutes to go, we're going to need a real shift in narrative to see anything other than a Villa Rocket Lions win. Looks like Manchester United will secure a 2-1 victory over West Bromwich Albion Dudley. That their final game of the season. So across their 22 games, they will have accrued 30 points.
Does that take United above West Brom in the final standings?
That does take Manchester United above West Brom. So West Bromwich Albion Dudley will finish on 26 points from their 22 league games. So their position in 7th or 8th will be confirmed in this one. Villa Rockets Lions will end, should they secure 3 points, on 45 points. So anything other than a Teesside loss will shift their position. Liam Chadwick down to Seb Copeland. Pick off from Seb Copeland, blocked by Nicky Baker. Good work from Sam Turner. Completely bypasses Liam Chadwick and takes possession of the ball in his own defensive half all the way into that of Leeds Dynamos.
Yeah, as soon as you think Leeds are building up a bit of pressure, Villa managed to find a way to break it up and then get the territory back in their favour. I think they could just play at their own tempo now for the rest of this game.
Yeah, they're just managing the game, aren't they? They're not taking too many risks that would or could potentially jeopardise this 3 points.
Quick set piece was taken there, trying to catch Leeds off guard, but didn't quite work. But then they'll go back to slowing it down again.
Dan Ball happy to just let that ball roll to an eventual stop before engaging it. 2.5 minutes to go. Leeds just having no success in attack in this second half. Down to Seb Copeland, picked off to the centre. Liam Chadwick was reversing, so lost any momentum, which allowed Sam Turner to engage the action, but Chadwick's done well.
Good strength from Chadwick there to keep the ball moving. It's probably their best attacking chance they've had for all the second half.
Yeah, it is. It's just knowing that if and when Liam Chadwick ventures down one of these wings, the respective winger of that side takes up the position in the centre and fills the roles and the voids left.
I think the challenge of this sort of game, when you don't get many chances, when you finally do get a good set piece, a lot of pressure kind of builds up. You want to get it right, and then something like that happens. It doesn't quite click.
Yeah, when you're given those rare opportunities, getting the timing and/or connection is a lot easier said than done, as shown with Seb Copeland's missed effort. Approaching the final minute, going to push you for a player of the match, if you would please, Jack.
I don't want to be sort of shouted at for bias, but I might go for Sam Turner. I think he's been really annoying, both in defence and attack, breaking down the game, doing some good front pumpers, helping break down the game. I think Mason's had a very solid game as well, so nothing to take anything away from him. But yeah, if you weren't accusing of bias, maybe give it Sam Turner.
I would agree with you completely. I think he's played such a vital role in keeping possession in that attacking half, and he is growing in confidence game after game. I had a conversation with him prior to this game kicking off about him just trying to find a controller or a joystick that can accommodate his play, and I think he's found a system, a method that helps him and aids his performances, and you're seeing that in his game without question. Better control, better timing, better connections with the ball, and give him a few months getting used to this adaptation, this change. He could be a real threat next season.
Yeah, well, it'll be perfect for the summer to get used to it. He's not missed a front bumper this game. The connection, as you said, has been great.
Comment in the YouTube chat from Thomas Pettigrew wanted to congratulate you on a fantastic season. Obviously, he was a teammate of yourself last season in the Championship. But that's he's good. Appreciating your insights, Jack.
Good to hear. I mean, always good to have Thomas around. Added a great level of enthusiasm to the squad last year, and was yeah.
You can confirm, Thomas, but I think, are you in Valencia, Spain? Full-time whistle. Leeds Dynamos 0. Villa Rocket Lions 1. I'll show you the live league standings so you can see how that changes things. It does put Villa back into third position. So were Teesside to lose their final game against Hull and East Yorkshire, Villa will comprise the Championship side of the Premiership playoff, but Teesside unbeaten in I think 17 now, so they will almost certainly be the favourites for that one. Next up on Court A, GBG Knight versus Muscle Warriors. It was dubbed the Clash of the Titans, the title deciders, had it not been for Sale United disrupting and spoiling the party. Muscle Warriors were crowned champions earlier today, so we're going to have the trophy ceremony prior to kick-off here. Thank you to all that have tuned in. Thank you, Jack. First time on commentary, hopefully the first of many.
I hope so, yeah. See you next season.
Absolutely. See you all soon.